Fiasco motorcycle.
Hello everybody, so this is the main review of the Amped A10 electric balance bike from funbikes.co.uk. This bike has been a superb bike. I mean, we've had it for a couple of weeks now, and my son, as you can probably see from the dirt, my son's ridden it in all sorts of conditions, mud and rain and everything, and he absolutely loves it. The main thing about this bike, which I'll say sets it apart from everything else, is the weight. This bike comes in at 9 kilograms, which if you're a parent loading in bikes in the back of the car, things like that, if you look at other electric bikes, some of them weigh a lot more than this. This is a fantastic weight. It's also got a full on-off throttle twist grip, so the whole twist grip is the throttle. An on-off button there in the red. Comes with a removable battery, which is here, comes with like a charger lead for it, but that comes off, and also it's got foot pegs, a well guarded chain. It doesn't come with the paddock stand, but that's something I've borrowed from a dealer just for the sake of this video. I have actually asked the company if they can actually include that. It also comes with a fully removable battery, which is always a nice touch because you can leave the bike where it is, remove the battery here. It's quite simple, just flick the button there, it slides off, and it's got a charger that comes with it, which you can see in there. It's a standard charger. The battery's really light, lithium ion, which is obviously the best way forward. It's got pneumatic tyres, so the tyres are properly made. The chain and rear wheel are adjustable. The seat height is adjustable slightly, and so is the handlebar height. This bike, when it arrives, you will need to fit the handlebars and the front wheel, but it comes with the tools to do that, and it's very simple to do that, so that's not a problem. The seat is ridiculously comfortable. It's hard, but at the same time it's got a nice bit of cushion. Now, the main other things about this this bike is a superb addition if someone going from a balance bike to their first electric bike. As anyone will tell you, that noise is a key factor in that, and this is obviously silent, so it is fantastic. The wires are quite nicely hidden through the tubular frame, which is always good, and the rear mounted motor, which I will show you around the other side, is located there. And you've got an adjustable throttle position there. The brake works the motor, so when you hit the brake, the motor stops working, and the brake is also adjustable here, which is a nice touch. So everything basically is adjustable on this bike. The motor power I'll talk about later in the video. The forks are steel, and the rest of the frame is alley, so it's light. It's, well, 9 kilograms is phenomenally light. If I compare it to the Revy bike, which is the one that some of our other videos are including, our son learnt on the Revy bike first of all because this wasn't available, and that weighs a ton, and basically lifting it in the back and out of the car, it's quite heavy for any parent to do, and if you've got a couple of parents, it takes up a lot of room, whereas this is small, like a balance bike. This is small and it just perfectly works, and since he's had this, nothing else compares to it. It's imported by a company called Dualways, which makes it available through funbikes.co.uk, as I've mentioned. The charger has got a nice long lead as well, which is something that I always find a bit of an advantage when there's no plugs around. The retail price for this bike is quite expensive. It's around £400 retail, but I would say personally, if you've got the money, it's worth every penny, because this bike is going to last him years, whereas some of the other ones are a bit more gimmicky, a bit more of a toy. This one does around I would say 6 miles an hour, which isn't ridiculously fast. It means the battery lasts a long time, and also it's not so fast. If your child gets into trouble, you can catch up with them quite quickly with a brisk jog. The lightweight is also very good for kids, because something we found with the Revy, with the heavy bike, we were very worried about it falling on his legs, which would hurt a lot, whereas this, he has fallen off it a couple of times, as kids do, and he's got straight back on it with no fear whatsoever, which I think makes a massive difference. And like I say, he loves this bike, and as you can see by the tyres, he has used it quite heavily through puddles and everything, through thick mud this time of year, because it's like February now, it's cold and it's wet out there, and he absolutely loves it. Now, if you sort of know electric bikes, and especially electric kids' bikes, the one thing you'll know about children and motorbikes is they love them. They absolutely love them. My son absolutely loves my bike and my girlfriend's bike. But as soon as you start it up, the noise, they don't like the noise, which is obvious, really. They've got sensitive ears, they're really young. And it's often been a problem when I've got friends who've got like PW50s for their children, and they've taken a long time to get used to it because it's very loud when you start it up. The best thing about electric bikes, obviously, is they're silent, other than the whirring of the motor, which is perfect because he has no problem with that. The downside of electric bikes is the throttle, which is either on or off generally. So when you start it, there's always a kick to it. So the first couple of times you ride it, your son rides it or your daughter rides it, it's a bit of a kick as it starts and goes, but then it's fine. And once they're used to that, they just do it every time without worrying about it. One thing also worth mentioning, I think, is the fact that there are other e-bikes on the market such as this. This is marketed by a different name in America, and I believe the company owner saw this bike with Travis Pastrana, the motocross rider. His kids have got them and decided to bring it to the UK, which is a fantastic idea. But what I'm saying is there are other electric bikes like this on the market, but that may be cheaper. In fact, I'm hoping to review the new Revy kids electric balance bike when it comes out. Now, the company Jewelways on their website say that this is bridging the gap and simplifying the transition from a balance bike to a motorcycle. And I think any sort of parent who wants to get their child into motorcycling will find that's exactly the case. And it's been exactly the case with our son. His balance bike, he's had a couple. He's had a KTM balance bike, and it's basically not much heavier, exactly the same width, and is built way better than that, even though this has obviously got a motor. The motor on this is a 100-watt max power output, and reaches about 10 kilometers an hour. It's about 6 miles an hour, which it does, you know, straight off the bat. It's really, really good. The wheels, like I say, 5-spoke plastic. Seat height's 400mm, and the maximum weight is, well, the weight of the bike is 9 kilograms, so you can easily throw this in the back of the car. It doesn't take much to lift it up, unlike some other bikes he's had which are quite weighty, which is also nice if, you know, you're worried about safety and it falling on your son or daughter and hurting their legs. This is not going to really cause that much injury. The frame's also aluminium, which is really good, and it's welded incredibly well. Which is always nice. In fact, the components on this are incredibly well made. The wiring's very well hidden and runs through the frame, as you can see there. Comes in 3 colours, I believe, red, blue, and I think it's a black with different sticker kits. The forks are steel, and the battery is an 18-volt 5.2 amp hour lithium ion being obviously fantastic. It states that the battery should last for about an hour continuous, and it's done probably, we've done about an hour and 3/4, 2 hours on this before it's needed a charge. It just starts to drop off in power after that time, basically, so you have got time to get it back. As I said, this is the battery. Looks like a standard sort of Makita drill battery. I'll show you the charger. The charger comes with a long enough lead, so you can actually, you know, sort of, charging is no difficulty basically. And the fact that it comes off the bike is superb, because at night when you bring it in or when your kids finish with it, you can put it on charge, and it's got a nice little green light on it that tells you when it's done. Because one thing I'm a bit obsessed with is not leaving chargers on overnight, because occasionally you hear rumours about them exploding and things. Not to say they're going to do that, but I'd rather not take the risk, and also I don't want to damage the battery for future use, and as lithium ion is designed to be charged without having to run it right down to nothing, it's very, very handy in that respect. Yeah, I'm hoping to review the new kids Revy bike when it comes out, but I am told that the battery and components on this are a lot better, so it may be more money, but you're getting a hell of a lot of value for the money. And to be honest, when I paid £400 for this bike, I thought it's a lot of money, but if he gets the use out of it, you know, if he uses it for sort of a year, maybe a year and a half, £400, I don't think it's that bad value if it's good quality and it doesn't fall apart. And to be honest, we've had it a couple of weeks now, which isn't a long time, but he's used it every single day and he's abused it every single day and run the battery out a few times, and it's not it is not bad at all. It's living up to its cost value, to me anyway. I mean, your pockets may not be as deep, or you might be looking at things more expensive like the OSET bikes and things like that, which are a bit more focused, but this to me is fantastic value for money for what you get for £400. The other thing is, I haven't spoken to the company yet, but one thing that we were going to suggest is my girlfriend takes my son out quite a lot on this bike, obviously, and sometimes she takes him to like different parks around the southeast of England, and so she throws it in the back of the car. And one thing she said is, although it's not a major problem because after a couple of hours he's had enough of riding it, if you went out for the whole day and you were doing a lot of walking and you wanted your child to sort of be on it, you would probably want to get another battery from the company, which I'm sure they supply a battery and charger separately, but I don't know the cost on that. I can't imagine it's much. It's probably 20-30 quid, and you know, and then you've got 4 hours, and to be perfectly honest, any child after 4 hours, any adult after 4 hours riding has pretty much had enough. So the other huge advantage with the weight on this is the fact that with his other Revy bike that he's had, which is quite heavy, if it runs out of battery, you've got to carry that back. You cannot freewheel it, and it weighs a ton. Or if your child, as they do, sometimes gets into the middle of town and says, I don't want to ride this anymore, and you know, you sort of like thinking, oh my god, you've got your shopping and everything, it's a pain in the neck. Whereas this is, your child can just freewheel it. It's great. You can even sort of pick it up under one arm or just lift it by the front handlebars, and the bike weighs literally nothing. I'm not sure I can prove it to you, but the weight just, you know, it's nothing at all. It's so light. Yeah, and that's about it. So please feel to like, share and subscribe, and if you want to check out our other videos with the actual riding of this bike, or if you want to give us some suggestions on future videos, please do, and I hope you like the channel. Thanks for watching.
Viel Spaß, Motorcycle.